From one of the world's most famous families to the runways of Paris, Kendall Jenner has always lived a life under the microscope. But unlike her sisters, she doesn't fully embrace the glitz, the drama, or the constant headlines. Instead, Kendall often teases, jokes about, and even lightly mocks the very family that made her famous. Is it sibling humor, rebellion, or a calculated way to maintain her independence? Tonight on International Broadcast, we dive deep into Kendall Jenner's life, her relationship with the Kardashians, and the surprising reasons behind her playful, and sometimes sharp, humor. From childhood pressures to career choices, mental health, and media strategy, this is the full story of why Kendall Jenner chooses to laugh at the empire she grew up in. Kendall Jenner's behavior toward the Kardashian family has puzzled audiences for years. She jokes about them, mocks their lifestyle, questions their choices, and often appears emotionally distant from the very empire that made her famous. To casual viewers, it may look like arrogance, ingratitude, or even quiet resentment. But the truth is far more complex. Kendall Jenner doesn't make fun of the Kardashians because she hates them, she does it because she grew up inside a machine that never allowed her to be fully herself. To understand Kendall, you must understand what kind of family the Kardashians really are. This is not a normal family that happened to become famous. This is a family that turned itself into a business, where emotions became content, conflict became currency, and privacy became optional. Kim, Khloé, and Kourtney didn't just live their lives, they performed them. Every argument, breakup, insecurity, and tear became part of a storyline. And for some personalities, that environment feels empowering. For others, it feels suffocating. Kendall was the second type. From the earliest seasons of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kendall appeared uncomfortable. She wasn't dramatic. She didn't like confrontation. She didn't enjoy explaining her emotions on camera. While her sisters thrived in chaos, Kendall visibly withdrew from it. This difference wasn't just personality, it was survival. When you grow up in a house where loudness equals relevance, silence becomes a risk. And Kendall learned early that if she wasn't going to compete emotionally, she needed another way to exist. That way was distance through humor. Kendall's jokes about the Kardashians are not random. They are precise, dry, and often cutting, but never explosive. She mocks how seriously her sisters take glam. She jokes about the endless meetings, the constant cameras, the obsession with image. What she's really doing is pointing out the absurdity of the system she lives inside. Humor allows her to say what she feels without directly attacking anyone. It's a controlled release of pressure. Another major factor is identity struggle. Kendall grew up in the shadow of Kim Kardashian, one of the most powerful celebrity figures of the 21st century. Kim didn't just become famous, she defined an era of fame. Growing up beside that kind of force can erase your sense of self. Kendall has admitted feeling invisible at times, even while being globally famous. When you feel unseen, teasing becomes a way to remind people you're still there, still thinking, still observing, still separate. Then comes the issue of career legitimacy. Kendall didn't just want fame, she wanted respect. High fashion modeling is brutal, elitist, and historically hostile to reality TV stars. Kendall knew that if she fully embraced the Kardashian identity, the fashion world would never take her seriously. So she created distance. Every time she jokes about her family's excess, she reinforces a narrative: I am adjacent to this world, not consumed by it. This is where the tension really begins. The Kardashians built success by leaning into excess. Kendall built success by rejecting it. That difference naturally creates friction. Her sisters often interpret her jokes as judgment. They feel she looks down on them while benefiting from the same brand. Kendall, meanwhile, feels misunderstood, accused of arrogance when she's actually trying to breathe. This emotional mismatch fuels the subtle hostility viewers sometimes sense. Another critical layer is control of narrative. The Kardashian family has been criticized for years, called fake, dramatic, out of touch, and obsessed with fame. Kendall understands this criticism deeply. By mocking her own family first, she neutralizes outsiders. She becomes the insider who acknowledges the flaw. This strategy makes her appear more grounded and self-aware, and it protects her from being lumped into the same stereotype. Psychologically, this is powerful. When you laugh at the thing people criticize you for, you take away their weapon. Kendall's humor also positions her as the audience surrogate. Many viewers feel exhausted by the Kardashian chaos. Kendall often says what the audience is thinking: why does this need to be a big deal? That's why her moments go viral. She becomes the calm voice in the storm, the reminder that the madness is, in fact, madness. But here's the part most people miss: Kendall pays a price for this role. Being the detached one means being emotionally isolated. Kendall has spoken openly about anxiety, loneliness, and feeling disconnected. When you separate yourself from your family's emotional system, you lose intimacy. Her jokes protect her, but they also create walls. And those walls sometimes look like coldness. Despite everything, Kendall's loyalty to her family is unquestionable. When the Kardashians face serious public attacks, Kendall consistently defends them. She doesn't mock them then. She stands beside them. This proves that her teasing is not rejection, it's familiarity. You don't joke like that unless you belong. In the end, Kendall Jenner makes fun of the Kardashians because she had to carve out oxygen in a family that consumes attention. Her humor is survival, not superiority. It's how she maintains identity inside a system that thrives on sameness. She is the observer inside the spectacle, the quiet voice in a loud empire. And that tension, between belonging and resistance, is exactly why Kendall Jenner remains one of the most fascinating figures in modern celebrity culture. Beyond family dynamics, Kendall Jenner's teasing of the Kardashians also reflects a broader cultural awareness of fame and media. She grew up in a household where every action could become headline news, every outfit analyzed, and every personal choice dissected by millions of fans and critics alike. Over time, Kendall developed a keen sense of how the world perceives her family, and herself. By joking about her sister's over-the-top lifestyles, Kendall exercises a subtle form of media control, shaping the narrative before the public or paparazzi can. It's a form of preemptive commentary. She acknowledges the absurdity of fame while demonstrating that she is conscious, self-aware, and not easily consumed by the pressures of celebrity life. In doing so, Kendall positions herself as both part of the empire and independent from it, walking a careful line that few in her position could manage. At the same time, Kendall's humor speaks to a deeper psychological need for balance and identity. Being born into one of the most famous families in history comes with immense privilege, but also constant scrutiny. Humor allows Kendall to process the contradictions of wealth, fame, and family expectations without losing herself in the process. It becomes a coping mechanism, a protective shield against burnout, and a tool for maintaining mental space in a world that rarely allows it. Her teasing is, therefore, not a simple act of mockery but a layered expression of autonomy, self-preservation, and individuality. It reminds audiences that even amidst the glitz, the drama, and the media spectacle, Kendall Jenner remains a person navigating complex family ties, personal ambitions, and the pressures of global fame, all while finding subtle ways to assert her voice in a family empire built on attention and performance. Kendall Jenner and Kim Kardashian share one of the most fascinating relationships in modern celebrity culture. A blend of love, rivalry, and contrasting personalities. Kim, the eldest of the sisters, is a powerhouse of fame, business, and media influence. She has built a global empire from her reality TV roots, fashion ventures, and personal branding, becoming an icon in the process. Kendall, on the other hand, has carved her own path in the fashion industry, largely outside the family spotlight, choosing modeling over reality television as her primary career. Their differences are stark, and these contrasts often define their interactions. Kim thrives in the dramatic, public-facing world. She's strategic, highly organized, and excels at turning personal life into brand value. Kendall, by contrast, is introverted, private, and understated. She avoids overt drama and prefers to let her work speak for her. This difference naturally leads to tension, as Kendall often appears to poke fun at Kim's constant media presence, over-the-top fashion, or intense brand efforts. It's not malice, it's a coping mechanism, a way for Kendall to maintain her own identity while navigating life in one of the most scrutinized families in history. Despite these differences, their bond is undeniable. Kendall has repeatedly shown support for Kim in personal and professional situations, whether defending her from public criticism or attending events together. Yet, Kendall's teasing, whether joking about Kim's high-maintenance persona, her makeup empire, or her dramatic storylines, is a subtle way of asserting her individuality while acknowledging the world's perception of the Kardashian lifestyle. Fans often interpret this as playful sibling rivalry, but it also highlights Kendall's intelligence in managing her personal brand within a family empire dominated by a sister as influential as Kim. Interestingly, Kim herself has spoken about Kendall's humor with a mix of amusement and exasperation, recognizing that Kendall's sarcasm is part of who she is. Kim seems aware that Kendall's teasing isn't disrespect but a reflection of her independence, wit, and desire for a different type of life. In many ways, Kendall's humor acts as a balancing force within the familiar reminder that even in a household built on attention, there is space for perspective, reflection, and subtle critique. Ultimately, the relationship between Kendall and Kim embodies the tension between family loyalty and personal autonomy. Kendall teases, jokes, and distances herself at times, but she also remains part of the family's inner circle, proving that even in the most famous families in the world, there is room for individuality, sibling dynamics, and nuanced relationships that go far beyond what audiences see on television. While Kendall often teases Kim, it's also clear that she deeply respects her sister's accomplishments. Kim Kardashian isn't just a reality star, she's a global entrepreneur, fashion icon, and influential figure in pop culture. Her ability to turn personal experiences into media power is something Kendall has witnessed firsthand. Yet, Kendall's humor toward Kim often reflects a mix of admiration and subtle rebellion. Moreover, the difference in their approaches to fame creates a fascinating contrast. Kim has embraced public life fully, sharing personal milestones, relationships, and family drama openly with millions of fans. Kendall, however, has consistently sought to maintain privacy and professionalism, especially in her modeling career. Despite their differences, Kendall and Kim share moments of genuine connection that show their bond runs deeper than surface-level teasing. Kendall has publicly defended Kim during controversies, supported her business ventures, and attended significant family events, reinforcing that teasing is part of sibling dynamics, not rejection. Their relationship exemplifies how humor, respect, and individuality can coexist in a high-profile family where every action is scrutinized, proving that even in the spotlight, authenticity and personal boundaries remain possible. Kendall Jenner's humor is more than just jokes, it's a survival tool, a statement of individuality, and a lens into life inside one of the most famous families in the world. While she teases her sisters and navigates the pressures of fame, she also demonstrates loyalty, intelligence, and self-awareness that set her apart. Kendall reminds us that behind every public persona, there's a complex individual finding ways to maintain identity, sanity, and humor in a world obsessed with spectacle. Here on International Broadcast, we'll continue to bring you in-depth stories and updates on celebrities, family dynamics, and the latest in entertainment news. Whether admired